Hello lovely people, welcome to the video. My name's Athena. I'm a writer working on my second project whilst homeschooling my two girls and be with them 24/7. Currently on the verge of finishing draft 1 of my speculative romance, whilst my fantasy romance is off in the query trenches. I sent another query the other day. I said I had stopped sending queries. I was done. I can't control myself when an agent opens and their manuscript wishlist fits my project. I can't. I refuse to give up at this point. I think, quick query update before we kind of dive into current project, since I started on this, I don't know my brain. Anyway, it is Thursday the 16th of July, for anyone wondering. I have been querying for 4 months now? It's been, May, June, July, 4 months of querying, officially. And the rejections have piled in. Interest has also piled in, but it's not gone anywhere really. At this point, I had said I was done. Like, I sent my final batch and I was done. I was just going to let them be what they are going to be, and that was it. However, when someone opens and they just match the project perfectly, because I missed out, I think, on a good chunk in the beginning because I didn't make the changes I knew I needed to make, I feel like now I would be doing a disservice to my project if I didn't try. You know. I think I'm just going to keep querying this book until my next project is ready to be queried. I think that's what's going to happen. I don't think I'm going to be able to stop querying and then, unless I run out of agents. That's also an option. That is also an option. Anyway, moving into the current project, speculative romance. I started this vlog yesterday, on Wednesday. I had been meaning to start it since Monday, but okay, every single time I say, oh, I'm nearing the end of a draft, I should be done in a week, something happens every single time. Every single time, something will happen and I will not be able to finish. I got 19 words on Monday, maybe 50 words on Tuesday. Sunday, I'm not, not even. I did manage to get a handful of words in on Wednesday, clearly because it just happened that I had half an hour and I knew where the scene was going, and I just dove in and just went nuts with it because I needed to have a day where I felt like I did something. It wasn't until yesterday that I finally hit more than 1,000 words. I think I got like 1,225 words yesterday. It has been, since the last vlog, it has been a struggle to sit down and write. Not because I don't want to, because things have been happening and not letting me write, which is the story of my life. Anyway, I'm never saying, oh, I'm almost done, I'll be done by then. I'm never setting a set date again, because every time I do it, it always happens. At this point, our original goal was the end of July for this draft. I'm going to get as much done as possible each day leading up to that goal, if I can, until either one. So either I hit the end of July, or I'm done with the project sooner. One of the two. I'm just going to keep at it, keep working my butt off. That is the crux of it. It is 11:30. We are done with homeschool for the day. We're done with everything. So it is writing time officially before I have to go sort out lunches and whatnot. Let me see. Where's the manuscript sitting at right now? What are we doing? I added a chapter, I added scenes, let's talk about that for a second. So, initially I had been at the point where I was down to the final chapter, final big scene where kind of everything comes together, everything is solved, everything is, the climax has happened, the magical part of the story has kind of been solved, and some of it is still lingering, but it's pretty much solved for this book at least. Interconnected standalones, my brain. Anyway. The idea was that this chapter would be one scene from my female character's POV where she everything kind of is resolved pretty much. And then we have the epilogue showing how they've progressed and moved forward in their lives. So two chapters. Last chapter and then the epilogue with two scenes within the epilogue from either of their POVs. I have now officially added another scene, and I'm probably going to add another scene in the next draft. But that's draft 2. That's draft 2 thoughts. Draft 1 thoughts, I have officially broken the one chapter down, so it's pretty much longer than it was originally anyway at this point. I broke it up into 2, so because it makes sense for this part now moving forward to be from my male main character's POV, plus there wasn't much of him in the final chapters, so I did want to kind of add him in, but I didn't want to add him in without it being natural. And it's just kind of flowed that way. So I'm happy about that. So I added an extra chapter right now. We are sitting at 37 chapters total. I don't think the chapters are going to change anymore moving forward. Well, oh no, unless there's a scene I want to add. There's a scene I want to add, but I could add it to a chapter. there's the earlier scene I'm going to add in the earlier part of the draft. And this is what I'm going to add it in draft 1, that scene that I want to add in the earlier part of draft 1. I want to add it now, because if I go into draft 2 and I have to reshuffle everything, I'm going to go nuts. Okay? So what I'm going to be doing with draft 1 is, once I'm done with, like, I reach the end, I'm going to go back and I'm going to add in the chapters of what I want to add. Okay? Because there's also one more, probably. Let's see, actually, no, I could add that. Technically, I could add that. I could actually make that its own. I could add that to the chapter. I don't think I need to add it. Okay, thoughts. The crux of it is, right now, I am working on chapter 36. I am continuing the scene from yesterday, where everything is kind of being resolved and the final conflict and everything is kind of being solved. And everything is just, everyone is put in their place, basically. And that's what I'm doing. I'm going to sit down and do that. And then I have the epilogue. I don't know. Oh my gosh, the epilogue. I swear the epilogue terrifies me, because I'm like, it's where they're happy and they're moving forward. And I just, oh my gosh. You know. Anyway, the draft itself is sitting at 55,251 words right now. So we're just over the 55,000 mark. And as I said, I have the scene that is continuing. I have the epilogue from each of their POVs. And then I definitely have one more scene that I'm going to be adding. And there's a possibility of another scene being added as well. So I don't know where our word count is going to go. I'm telling myself I'm not worrying about the word count, but I don't want it to be too short. But I also know, as I edit and go through it in the second draft, I will be adding and just kind of molding things and fixing things. So I don't know. I mean, because there is such a thing as a short novel, like too short. Like that is true. But then again, there are things that I will be adding and sprinkling in. So yes. Anyway, I'm wasting time. I'm procrastinating at this point. We're gonna dive in. I have 2 chapters until I finish the draft, until it comes to an end. Then I'm going to jump back in and add that scene, and we will be done. Draft 1. My throat, I don't know what's happening. I have no idea what's happening. No clue. Anyway, moving on. I'm just going to do that, and hopefully my throat is clear next time I speak. I don't know what's wrong with my throat for some reason. Anyway, I will see you guys in a minute, probably. Okay, so quick update, because hubby came home early and it's just my luck this past week, I swear. However, the scene is definitely flowing. I am at 838 words. I'm going to keep going. He's doing something outside. I might have time to get it up to 1,000, we shall see. The scene is flowing. I'm really, really happy with it. I love the fact that I decided to go, like, break up the scene and make it from his POV, because it's adding more, it's giving more context, it's adding just, it's better. It's better. So I'm very, very glad with that. Yeah, the manuscript is sitting at 56,000 words, 56,089. So just over 56,000, and we are still going strong. Okay. I mean, I don't know. Is it probably going to hit 60,000? Is that a good amount? I'm not going to think word count. We're finishing the draft. That's what we're thinking. Okay. I'm going to keep going. I don't know if I'll be able to update you guys again today, so that's why I thought I would do a quick little update now. We're making progress. I don't have much battery. How fun. So it is Friday the 17th of July. I have not updated today yet. It is 1:30. I have done my writing, and I will explain why I dove into writing before even updating the vlog. Because hubby is working today, and he will probably be working tomorrow. However, there's a huge possibility that he won't be working for a few days next week, which means I literally have today and tomorrow to get as much as humanly done before I then have limited time to write. So, with that being said, what have I done today? Where are we even? I ended yesterday at just over 1,200 words, which was pretty good, I would say. I jumped in to finish the scene from yesterday. It was basically kind of the conclusion coming to an end. It's not perfect. It is not perfect. There's a lot happening. I feel like I do need to add like a few minor little things, but just I can't. Yeah, I'm okay with it right now. I'm okay with it as it is right now, to be honest. I think once I go through the entire draft again and revise this part, it will then kind of flow easier. Because right now, as the whole story has kind of formed, this is as much as I can pretty much pop into. So we are sitting at, I've just tackled 966 words for the day, so just shy of 1,000 words for the day. Not the good, well, up to now. I'm going to keep writing. The scene is done though. I wanted to be done with the scene before I updated the vlog because I didn't want to start chatting and talking about the draft and whatnot before I had done any writing, because then, yeah, procrastination is a thing. It is a thing, and I still have to go inside and get the spaghetti cooking for lunch, so yay. The manuscript is sitting at 57,344 words. Not bad considering where we are at. I have the epilogue to write now, as well as that extra scene that I wanted to add. I've kind of gone back and forth with that scene, kind of thinking if I should write it in during revisions or if I should dive in and do a draft 1 version of it, since I usually don't work out of chronological order. However, with this project, I have been able to do that. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to dive into the epilogues, and then once I'm done with the epilogues, I will just give it a shot. I will see if I can write the scene, if it flows, if it works, it does. If it doesn't, I will let it go and just make notes, add the outline to my scene cards, and just work on it in the revision. I think that's just the simplest way to go about it. So yeah, as I said, hubby's probably not going to be working a few days next week, so I have no idea. Like my writing is completely out of, like I have no idea when I'll be able to write, if I'll be able to write. And 50, 100, 300 words are not gonna, So I'm gonna try and tackle as much as I can tackle. Now, I don't plan on making the epilogue really huge. I'm not gonna like dive in and try and make it really big just to cover the word count or whatever. I'm just gonna, as I've been doing up to now, I just kind of write whatever it is I'm gonna write. And if, I haven't considered the word count, not really. It does kind of like, I do kind of look at it and like, oh gosh, it's gonna be like a 60,000 word book. But I haven't been writing based on word count. I don't think it's time to do that yet. I know that with the revisions, I'm going to be adding things, and again, we'll talk about this in a separate video. Like right now, we're finishing draft 1, basically. Okay, that's what this vlog is going to be. Finishing draft 1. Okay. We're not going to worry about the word count. We are at 57,000, just over 57,000, which is pretty good in my books. And we're going to dive into the epilogue from my female main character's POV. I decided I'm going to do one from each of them because it's just the different way they kind of see things and the different way that things kind of formed for them. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to go get the spaghetti cooked, boiled, all that fun stuff, and then come back and hopefully tackle at least one scene out of the 2 scenes that are in the epilogue. Okay. Also, does anyone else feel utterly terrified of finishing a draft? Like, I want to finish the draft, and I'm extremely proud of myself for reaching this point, and almost literally, I'm writing the epilogue, and then it's like one scene that I may or may not write. I'm finishing a draft, and it's a full story. Like, it is a full story. There's, again, description, setting, whatever. There's different things that need to be added, revised, but it is a full story, and it is the second full story I have written, and it is insane to think about, but it's also terrifying. Like, a part of me doesn't want to write the epilogue, doesn't want to finish it because it's just, I don't know. Is it just me? I don't know. Maybe. Okay. I'm going to go get lunch sorted, and then we're going to tackle the epilogue. Okay. Super quick update. It is almost 3, which means my writing time is probably coming to an end for the day. I wrote an extra 852 words, which is the epilogue scene from my FMC's POV. So from her POV, her epilogue, I think it's cute. It's nice. I like it. It kind of ties everything up nicely and adds a little. Technically, I could leave it at this. Technically, I could like not move into his POV, but I do want to add his POV. So her epilogue is at 1 year after the final scene. I am thinking I want his to be like, I don't know, a few years down the track. So I have to play a bit carefully because I am planning on, the general idea is the interconnected standalones, the motorbikes outside, the interconnected standalones, in the event that it happens, I do want it to kind of make sense. I don't want it to be, would have happened in that in-between time. So I need to be careful. But I think I'm going to focus only on their relationship and basically where their relationship is gone in like maybe 5 years down the track, in the same way that it was like 5 years we were apart, and then something like that. Anyway, I'm probably running out of writing time at this point, so it is what it is. My battery's also dying, so yeah, I have no idea if I'll update you guys again today. If not, I will see you in the next clip, which will be tomorrow morning. Oh, by the way, the manuscript is sitting at, how many are we sitting at? 58,196 words. So just over 58,000, right? Did I say I wasn't going to update? Well, here we are. It is 3:24. Hubby's probably going to call me in the next 5 minutes. I just finished the epilogue from my main character's POV. Tears? I'm not crying, you're crying. Like, who's, what? It's, everything I want is there. I know I'm going to fix it up and add to it and whatever, but it's there. And and if we're excluding the extra scene that I want to add, because I just want to add more to their relationship and whatnot, I just finished the story. I just finished the whole story. The whole story is there. I have technically finished draft 1 of my speculative romance. And yes, as I said, there's still that scene, but that scene might not pan out. I'm going to try and write it now, maybe jump into it a bit, but I finished the draft. I've technically finished the draft. Like, I wrote another book, basically, is what's happened here. I wrote another book, and I'm in utter and complete disbelief, because Zero Draft was just getting the idea down in a general form. It wasn't really a story. Like, you couldn't read it and feel like you're reading a story. But this is like, I can't even. It's currently sitting at 59,000 words, which is, oh gosh. Okay. I don't know what else to say right now. I'm going to let you guys go. I technically finished the draft. I'm going to probably dive in and try and see if I'm going to write that extra scene that I wanted to write. But I finished the draft. We're going to continue until I've completely done what I want to do. And then what do oh my gosh. This is cute. It's huge. It's like, and I love the way it ended. I love it all around. I just love it. I'm going to see if I can tackle that scene. And yeah, but other than that, I've written 2,648 words today, and I finished a draft. I finished a story. This story for me is just, it has flowed in a way that I cannot explain. And the fun thing is that ideas for my other story, like my paranormal romance / paranormal fantasy, we'll get to that in a future video, or even my fantasy romance that is in the Quarry Trenches, I have ideas for if it doesn't work out, what I'm going to do with it in order to kind of, I'm not giving up on it, but it might need, a complete revamp. That is what it is. But ideas are flowing, everything. I feel like this story has changed a lot for me as a writer. It's made me realize I am a writer and I have stories to tell. And it's also helped me figure out how I write these stories, how I want to go about writing these stories. I learned a lot from my first book. And then the second book just kind of brought it all together perfectly, I think. Okay. I'm very... Okay. We're going to continue and finish. I'm going to try and tackle that scene that I said and completely bring this draft to a close. But I finished the story. I finished the story. Oh gosh. It's the 17th of July. Yay me. Okay. Let's do this. I don't know if I'll update you guys again today, but who knows? I said that before too, didn't I? So it is Saturday, the 18th of July. I wanted to end the vlog with a quick little kind of outro, I guess. I decided that I'm going to be doing the scene and everything I said in developmental edits, which is what I'm going to be jumping into now. So draft 1 is done. My draft 1 of my speculative romance is done, and I am just about to print it. I have compiled it from Scrivener into a Word document, and I'm going to print it and bind it and hold it, and that will be the next video. I will kind of film, binding it, and maybe not binding it, but yeah, show you the process and whatever I'm planning on doing. I finished draft 1. I wrote a second book because it is a book. Even if it needs a developmental edit, it needs a good revision, whatnot, it is a full story. And I'm very proud of it. And I want to just, I don't know. I feel like we're always kind of rushing on to the next thing, and we don't enjoy our accomplishments enough in like this kind of field. So I finished writing a book. I wrote a whole book, 59,000 words worth of it, and we're moving on to the next stage, I guess.
Mom,
Yes.
I'm hungry.
You're always hungry. I'll get you an apple. Give me a second.
Okay, Mama.
So yeah, anyway, with all that being said, I'm going to end the vlog here, and we're going to dive into preparing for revisions, I guess. I was contemplating, like, you know, okay, I'm going to talk about this in the next video, but yeah, I'll talk about it in the next video. I'm not going to rambling. I finished track one, and we're moving ahead. I'm excited. I'm very, very excited.